Township Committee, March 18, 2013, the notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice that this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the Tuber Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 11, 2013. Committeeman Fiore?
Here.
Committeeman Massell?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murray?
Here.
Committeeman Senabrino?
Here.
Mayor Sharpletter?
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our freedoms, constitutions, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have a recognition of Officer of Emergency Management volunteers Charles Eckert, Bruce O'Connor, and Police Auxiliary Chief Dave Geiger. If you would please come forward with our coordinator, Charles Rogers.
Charlie, I'm going to let you pick up the story, but I just have to say, Superstorm Sandy has really shown what this town is made of, and you're looking at what is the backbone and the spirit of this town that no other part of this town can be articulated. I was with Dave, I saw you tonight, right, back at the command center here, after it all happened. And I want to let Charlie tell exactly what it was and how it all transpired.
Well, basically, as everybody knows, as the night progressed on October 29th, the storm got worse and worse. We had requested most people in the Bay Shore. We did a mandatory evacuation. Some people heard the evacuation and left. Some people chose to stay. Well, later on, as the storm got worse, now they're calling and hollering, we need help, we need to be evacuated. We're in 3 to 4 foot of water. Fortunately for us, a few months earlier, Billy Colangelo and the police department were able to gather a couple high-wheel Army vehicles. And if it wasn't for those vehicles and their forethought of getting them, we wouldn't have been able to get to these people. But the police department had the vehicles. They picked up these two young gentlemen who were home on leave, I guess. From the Naval Academy, and go ahead. Maritime College. I'm sorry. And they jumped aboard the trucks, and along with Chief Daggett, they went out rescuing people. I think you did 8 or 9 people from Senior Citizens Project, a family from Willow Avenue in Port Monmouth, and they were able to get them out and get them to our shelter and safety. So, you know, it's nice to see young and old being able to get together. It worked out well, and we appreciate the work that they all did.
Dave, I hate to tell you which one you are.
I got it by a couple of years, Darryl, I can say that.
Okay, I have proclamations to everybody here, but this certificate is awarded to the folks you see up here by the Middletown Township Committee in recognition of your heroic rescue of 13 people during Superstorm Sandy. Your brave, selfless response to this emergency makes you a fitting recipient of the Middletown Township Life-Saving Award. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to help neighbors in times of crisis. On behalf of the Township Committee, thank you for everything you do and everything you are doing.
Now they get their certificates and I get a picture.
Just with there. That Joe.
See?
And Bruce.
That's Bruce.
Okay.
All right, let's get this together. You know the drill. All right. No, a little closer, just a little bit. All right, excellent.
Where's that wide angle camera? Oh, okay.
One more happy set of thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good thing we got a wedding.
At this time, our next item on tonight's agenda, we have a proclamation declaring Meeting.mpeg4 for Breast Cancer Awareness, May 2013. At this time, I'd like to invite Caitlin Coyle and Stacy Donovan from Meridian Health. Please come forward.
I'm going to let these speakers but breast cancer is something that touches everybody. Men have wives, daughters, mothers, and sisters, and it's just one of those things that transcends all economic levels and all races and creeds. With that, I want to read a proclamation from Meeting.mpeg4. Whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer among women in the United States other than skin cancer, and whereas the chance of a woman having invasive breast cancer sometime during her life is a little less than 1 in 8. The chance of dying from breast cancer is 1 in 35. Whereas the National Cancer Institute estimates in the United States more than 200,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and about 40,000 people will die. Only lung cancer accounts for more cancer deaths in women. Therefore, I, Mayor Jerry Schaffenberg, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby proclaim Middletown Township, also be known as Pinktown, during the month of May in support of this important initiative. Thank you, congratulations for everything.
And then you can explain what we'll be doing that one. One more happy thought.
Yes, thank you. I know everyone's very busy tonight, but if we could just take a couple minutes since you're all here, and I think you actually enjoy hearing what we have to say. 7 years ago, Riverview Medical Center launched an initiative to paint the town pink in Red Bank, where the hospital is located, in an effort to create awareness and educate the community about the importance of annual mammography and early detection, because it was found out by the hospital system that the number of women in the state of New Jersey, age 40 and older, having their mammogram was less than 30%. And that was a very striking statistic to a healthcare facility. So they decided to go out into the community and put together a creative way to encourage people to learn about the importance of early detection and to encourage people to have their mammograms done. So what we did was we turned Red Bank into Pink Bank for 1 week. We partnered with businesses and local residents, local officials, and different organizations to help us bring the message out to the community. And it was highly successful, and it was a wonderful first year. And we saw some nice results about educating the community and having women actually come in and have their mammograms done, because it does save lives. And over the course of the next 6 years, we actually had other towns come forward and ask to also participate and take the town pink and become a pink town. So 7 years later, we went from a Riverview-based event to a Meridian Health-based event, and we're now in 2 counties and 22 towns in Monmouth and Ocean County. So it's really quite a testament not just to what the hospital initiative was, but to what the community did to help us spread this important message. And as well as spreading the message over the course of the last 7 years, we we've also developed a pink fund, and that fund raises money to provide free mammography for uninsured and underserved women in the community. And we're proud to say after 7 years, we have over $200,000 to give back into the community to provide mammography. So we went from 1 week in 2007, and because of the growth and the expansion and the contributions of committee members and community leaders and residents, we now will be the entire month of May, and we will be thanking your businesses. We invite you to participate through your schools, through your businesses, through any community organizations that you're involved in. We have a website I encourage you to visit. It's paintthetownpink.com. You can register to pick your ride and go mobile and take a message on the road with us. And there's many, many ways that you can get involved for events. So we're very proud that Pinktown has joined the Pink family this year. And again, we encourage you to participate and support. We look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
And let me see that.
Actually, no, that's part of the actual breast cancer research foundation. We started out as part of the events, and we're just now becoming really huge. And again, I can't say enough because it's a team like yourself.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Our next item on tonight's agenda is a proclamation declaring April as Alcohol Awareness Month 2013.
Okay, I'm just going to read the proclamation into the record. This is for Alcohol Awareness Month, April 2013. Whereas alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the United States, 1 in every 12 adults, 17.6 million people suffer from alcohol abuse or dependence. And whereas more than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism or problem drinking. And whereas approximately 100,000 people die each year from alcohol-related causes including drinking and driving crashes, other accidents, falls, fires, and alcohol-related homicides and suicides. And whereas more than 7 million children live in a household where at least one parent is dependent on or has abused alcohol. Whereas young people who begin drinking before age 15 are 4 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence than those who begin drinking at age 21. And whereas alcohol-related problems cost America $224 billion, or $746 per person, in lost productivity, absenteeism, healthcare costs, crime, and family-related problems. And whereas the typical American will see 100,000 beer commercials before he or she turns 18. Wow. Now therefore, I, Mayor Jerry Schaffenberger, and the Middletown Township Committee, join the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, Incorporated, and the Middletown Municipal Alliance to Prevent Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, proclaiming that April 2013 is NCADD Alcohol Awareness Month in Middletown Township. We call upon all citizens, parents, governmental agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, hospitals, schools, and colleges to support efforts that will reduce stigma, increase community awareness, and increase support for individuals and families coping with alcoholism. Through these efforts together, we can provide help for today, hope for tomorrow for those in our community who are facing challenges with alcohol use and abuse. Thank you.
Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have a proclamation declaring April as Autism Awareness Month for 2013. At this time, I'd like to invite Nikki Valentino, Timothy Konigsberg, Brittany Shamus, and Impact Oasis fundraising coordinator, Marta Petroselli. Please come forward.
This is an organization that's very close to our heart here in Middletown. It was a long, arduous trip to get our Impact Oasis on, but we did it, and it just goes to show what perseverance can do for such a great cause. They're great kids. I love going to these events. I always have such a great time. My buddy here, I gave you a trophy. Yeah, so anyway, great institution, tremendous opportunity for these folks, and the town couldn't be more proud to support this, everything they do. Where's my friend Maya Fiore? I'm so sure she's here.
Her son is getting some sort of.
Really amazing. Whereas autism is a pervasive development disorder affecting the social, learning, and behavioral skills of those affected by it, and whereas autism was once thought to be a relatively rare disorder affecting only 1 in 10,000 people, and whereas as more and more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, and whereas more children are being diagnosed on the autistic spectrum, resulting in rates as low as 1 in 88 children in the United States, 1 in 49 children in New Jersey. And whereas while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if an individual with autism receives treatment early in their lives, it is often possible for that individual to make significant improvement. And whereas Impact Oasis, which stands for Ongoing Autistic Success in Society, is spearheading an awareness effort in order to educate parents, professionals in our community about autism and its effects. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Jerry Schaffenberger, and the Middletown Township Committee do hereby proclaim April 2013 as Autism Awareness Month in Middletown Township, and urge all employees and residents to participate in our municipality's Autism Awareness Month activities in order to become better educated on the subject of autistic spectrum disorders. Thank you very much for everything you do.
I'm the house parent at Impact Oasis, and I'm almost with tears. It's the most wonderful experience. We have great students, right? Right, Nikki?
Yeah.
Great students. We have 35 chicks. We've got the best gardens in all of Middletown. Sorry, y'all. And we just have fun there. We're a family. We have several instructors. We have people who spend the night. We have people who come during the day. And it's just a wonderful place. And we welcome you to come and visit us and also to have tea. All right. And I know some of our students are here and would like to speak. So I'm just going to let Nikki speak, and then our wonderful Tim and her. I know, would you like to speak? Yes. Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Dave.
You're very welcome.
I would like to thank everyone at Oasis for all their help teaching us and making us a wonderful home away from home.
We're very proud of that.
It's the biggest happy in the world. The entire place is especially better for us than autistic people and all of us in our hearts.
The facility that they're talking about is on Sleepy Hollow Road.
89.
Beautiful old farmhouse on 27 acres that they've done a phenomenal job with. It really is something to be proud of.
Good evening, my name is Marta Petrocelli, and I promise I'll make this quick. I know, you stole my show. My son is 13. He was diagnosed, oh God, when he was short of 2 years old. And the very first thing I thought about is, what is he going to do? I mean, we worry about that with our typical children, but with these children, it's a really huge work. And when my family and I moved down here, and I hooked up with Mayor Mike Fiore and Barbara DiAugusta and all of my new friends out at Oasis, it just felt better because I knew that my son would have somewhere to go. On April, well, first of all, the farmhouse, I know you've heard a lot about it from Lauren, and these guys obviously love where they are. Our pilot program, which they're a part of, just started in September. And we're really very excited that it all seems to be going in the right direction. It's a place for our young autistic adults to go once they're out of high school and they have nowhere to go. On April 20th, we will be having our 5th annual fundraiser, and it's going to be at Trump. I have some invitations here if anybody's interested in checking it out. I also have some business cards if anybody wants to see our website, talk to me about it.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot
of fun, and it all goes to help these guys and hopefully the next increasing classes participating have somewhere to go where they can do meaningful work and have meaning to their lives.
Now I get one shot, right? One happy smiling shot for me?
Yes.
All right.
No, you've got that smile.
Now they just got that great smile. All right, we all do actually. All right, one more time, just for fun. Excellent. Thank you. Awesome, yeah. Exactly what I
agenda, we have the approval of the minutes for January 6, 2013, reorganization meeting, January 22nd, 2013 regular meeting, and February 4th, 2013 workshop meeting.
Move for approval?
Second. Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Sal.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. At this time, we have public hearing on ordinance 2013-3083, an ordinance amending summer recreation program structure.
Is there anybody who would like to speak to ordinance number, I can't see without my glasses, 3083? Aging is a terrible thing. Would anybody care to speak? Seeing no further members of the public come forward, move to close the public portion and move for adoption.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Sal.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on second and final reading. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have introduction of proposed ordinances. Our first ordinance, 2013-3084, an ordinance for introduction authorizing sale of Block 869, Lot 75.01, 75.02, and 75.03 Unity Road lots.
Move for introduction?
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Sal.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held April 1st, 2013. Our next ordinance for introduction, 2013-3085, has been put on hold at this time. That's the Jim's. So we have introduction of proposed ordinance 2013-3082, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Middletown, County of Monmouth, amending Chapter 16 Planning and Development Regulations, the ADFB.
Move for introduction?
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes, for introduction.
Committeeman Michelle,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance with first reading with a public hearing to be held April 1st, 2013. Next item on tonight's agenda, we have a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 13-104 and 13-105, and bingo and raffle applications and volunteer firefighter applications.
Move for adoption?
Second.
Committeeman Fiore,
Yes.
Committeeman Michelle,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. At this time, we have Resolution 13-103, a resolution authorizing payment of bills for March 18, 2013.
Move for adoption?
Second.
Committeeman Fiore,
Yes.
Committeeman Michelle,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Mayor Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 13-103. At this time, we have Township Committee comments.
Mr. Michelle?
Just a brief comment. I just want to reiterate the importance of the Autism Awareness Month for April. I think it's very important to obviously recognize this, and I think dedicating a month to it is very important. My youngest daughter was diagnosed with autism recently. She's 5 years old. Today's her birthday, as a matter of fact, and it's something that my wife and I, groups like Impact Oasis are incredibly appreciative of, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sedambrino?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to comment on the certificate of appreciation that you handed out this evening. When you hear from people that were here tonight, whether it's the volunteers or the breast cancer awareness or alcohol awareness or whatever, it makes you stop and think about everything that's going on in the world, and makes you understand how very lucky certain people are to have what they have, and let us know that it's very, very important to help as much as we can for all of these organizations that are here whenever we have an opportunity. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Fiore?
Thank you, Mayor. A few things this evening. I echo the comments of both Committeeman Sedambrino and Committeeman Michelle. One of the proudest projects that I have ever voted for was to work in partnership with Impact Oasis, and that's something that I believe it is a wonderful organization that does so much for autism awareness, and it's something that I think is critical not only for Middletown, and I hope other towns will follow our lead and work with organizations like Impact Oasis to do even more. So I'm really pleased that they were here this evening. Just a few other comments this evening, one of which is with regards to Port Monmouth, and I know there's some of you in the crowd are familiar faces with regards to Port Monmouth, and Mr. Mercatante, the administration has been working very closely with the Army Corps of Engineers, and it has been a long-standing project to try to get the Army Corps and federal funding to do the necessary work to provide flood relief and flood mitigation to Port Monmouth and to our Bayshore area. And unfortunately, for the past 20 years, that, and obviously, I'm going to say a little too late, but hopefully better late than never, we were unsuccessful despite not just mine, but many Township Committee members and administration's previous attempts to get the requisite federal funding to provide that. I know there is a meeting coming up on the 21st, which I am looking forward to attending in Fort Monmouth. And I read a statement this evening from Congressman Pallone's office, who announced that they're going to be funding $92 million towards that project. And you can rest assured that I will make sure, since he put that release out, that he actually sees it through this time. So I know this committee is steadfast on making sure that Fort Monmouth is not forgotten on this round. So we will continue to fight for our residents of the Bayshore, and will not rest until that flood mitigation is put in place. Aside from that, I look forward to an announcement when I meet with the board for the Middletown Disaster Relief Fund of another wonderful partnership and another potential grant opportunity that we were able to obtain. More on that on the next meeting on April 1st, because I believe I'm meeting with that board tomorrow night, which I chair. So as all I can say for that right now is that we are undergoing about a $200,000 grant project for the most severely affected residents of the Bay Shore as we speak, and looking forward to announcing an even bigger project through the Middletown Disaster Relief Fund. So more to come on that in the very near future. And that's all I have for this evening, Mayor. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Murray.
Thank you. Just to add on to how fortunate we are to have so many great organizations in town doing so many great things. One thing I'd like to mention is our newly formed volunteer corps, which has been making incredible strides toward getting things done. Many of you may have heard that Croydon Home Relief Center is closing right now, on April 1st, but we have teamed up with Project Poland Keensburg to help people transition into the new normal and still provide continued relief. Another thing that they're actually in the process of setting up is a resource fair, where several organizations are coming together to donate their time, again, to help people with who've been victims of the Superstorm Sandy. That's going to be April 11th at the VFW, and I'm not sure of the time. I think it'll be quite a while, 2 to 8, April 11th at the VFW. And they've also come a long way in terms of beginning to establish a plan for a future structure for volunteer efforts and coordination in the future, which these people are just fantastic. They've been on the ground since day one. They're tireless, and just like to give them a little bit of credit, and I'm very grateful that we do have people like this in town. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As I mentioned before, just one more thing about the Impact Oasis facility. It was a very complicated project. It was a private residence on 27 acres that the town, Impact Oasis, and was it Conservation Foundation? The Baykeepers. Several private entities, the Township and Impact Oasis, all pooled their resources together. And when the smoke cleared, we were able to save a property from development, 27 acres, and a beautiful old farmhouse, but more importantly, give a facility to these kids who, once they get to be a certain age, they're actually adults in calendar years, and they need to be able to do something to be a little bit more self-sufficient, and from all accounts, it's been wildly successful. So we're really very proud of it, proud of Impact Oasis and all the great work they do, and we look forward to continued good things from them in the future. Just a few other items. I attended the Ideal Beach Association meeting last week, and I tell you, I walked out of there shaking my head. What a great group it is. They've made such an incredible difference up in that part of town, and I just marvel at what they've been able to do and the dedication, and we're big supporters. I know a few of them are here, a few of the folks, and we look forward to all the great events coming up. They were rattling them off faster than I could jot them down. So really a lot of good things coming up there. And we're pushing for a few initiatives for that part of town that I think you'll be very happy with that. We spoke a little bit about, and we're starting to get some confirmation on those things, and I'll certainly keep you posted. But really great group, and I'm very proud of everything they've accomplished. And it is my honor. I'd love to be the bearer of good news, and this is probably surprisingly good out of left field, come to think of it. But Middletown was named the best website out of 546 municipalities in New Jersey, #1 in the whole state, by the Monmouth University Polling Institute, very prestigious organization. And I got the email a couple of weeks ago, and a few of us are going down to an event, and Todd Costello, who put together the website for the most part and keeps it up, will be giving a demonstration on how he did it and why it works so well. And it's further testament to our commitment to open government and accessibility, and we really like the idea of being as accessible as possible to the residents. And I think the website has shown that it really can be done and on a large scale, and it's good to know that a lot of other towns are going to be modeling their system after ours. So very, very proud of everybody involved. It's something that we had the germ of about 8 years ago. I think it was in the works, and we finally, we had all sorts of focus group meetings, and a lot of effort went into it, just having it come out right. And as they say, the proof is in the pudding. And it really is a top-notch site. We're very proud of everybody who's involved with it. And last, but certainly not least, I want to congratulate my colleague, Tony Fiore, on being named Public Servant of the Year and by the Northern Monmouth Chamber of Commerce. Tremendous, tremendous honor, especially when you consider who else is in his league there, Governor Christie and Lieutenant Governor Godano. We're very proud. No, I can think of no one who's more deserving than Committeeman Fiore in his role as mayor last year during Superstorm Sandy. Just can't say enough about him, and it's great to see him recognized. Congratulations there, Committeeman. That's a Public Servant of the Year. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
At this time, we have public comments.
Okay, before we start the public comment period, I just want to remind everybody to please give your name and address, and please to keep your comments to 5 minutes. I'm going to hold you to that 5 minutes because we want to be fair to everybody else who wants to speak, okay? So with that, what's your pleasure? Yes, sir? Oh,
Yep.
since you two are together, I'll let you argue which one's going to go first, all right? Well, only one can speak at a time, though, okay? You can speak next. That's fine.
Ron Stevens, 55 Skater Place, Middletown, New Jersey, 076. Our concern is our road in front of us, about 50 feet, is starting to come apart. And it's been coming apart for at least over 3 years. And the township has just made, well, we appreciate their attempts to make repairs. But the repairs they do literally just crumbles and the pieces, the granulars, whatever you call them, wind up wet on our cars, on our feet, and then in our house. Then it's very difficult to get on the cars. We have new vehicles out there. I do have pictures that we don't have time to see. And I made a few phone calls and asked nicely to please try to address it. So I'm asking the town if they could just please look into maybe repair and get a different solution to be repaired once and for all.
Ron, this is the director of the Department of Public Works.
Okay.
So he's...
I might just,
yeah, he can probably fill you more.
I don't know if I spoke with you or not, but I'll get over and take a look at that. I know we've done some repairs over that area.
Yes.
A couple other streets in that neighborhood.
Okay.
I'll take a closer look at it and see what we can do in the short term and the long term.
That's fine. Like I said, the pothole repair, it just looks cold, and
Yeah.
I used to clean the street, so I go up there and do it.
In the winter time, we have to use a cold patch, and that is just a temporary repair because the asphalt plants aren't open to give you the hot patch.
Okay.
So I'll get over there and take a look at it. If you want to email, I'll give you my card if you want to email me.
Absolutely.
And, give me a call. I'll reach out if you want.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. Okay.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else care to speak? Have a quick look.
I have packets to be distributed to.
Sure.
My name is Rosemary Smith. My address is 562 Mackey Avenue in Milton. The name sounds familiar, it's probably because I've had some emails sent down. And I'm here this evening primarily, well first let me just say I've been a resident of Middletown for 39 years. This is in fact the second town meeting that I've ever been to. The first meeting was in 1985 when we were trying to get recycling, and I was in favor of that.
Have your wish.
But thankfully it did pass. My concern and my request is that the Township Committee an ordinance that would ban the sale of pets, dogs and cats, in pet stores. We know that pet stores are supplied by puppy mills. We have evidence. You've been given evidence. You've been given some difficult information to look at because it involves cruelty to animals. And I don't think that there's anyone amongst you who is in favor of cruelty to animals. The point is being aware that it goes on. Very often, people unsuspectingly will go to a pet store, see a beautiful puppy, and they'll fall in love with the puppy, and they'll say, where did this puppy come from? And the pet store owners will say to them, a reputable breeder. I'm here to tell you, as well as other animal advocacy representatives that are joining me tonight, that that's not the case. They're not coming from reputable breeders. They're being bred and raised in puppy mills that are quite horrific places. They're places that are almost unspeakable to think about. The representatives that will follow me, speak to you, will have the facts. They will have the details, irrefutable proof that it's going on. What I'm just requesting from you, each and every one of you, is to please keep an open mind. We did request the same from the town councils in Point Pleasant Beach, in Brick, and in Manasquan. They studied the facts, and they passed an ordinance. They did not go after stores that were already in business. We're not looking to usurp anyone's constitutional right to run a business. We are, in fact, business people. I'm a retired teacher. My heartstrings were just pulled. I taught autistic children. So now I volunteer with the Monmouth County SPCA, and I offer humane education presentations to schools. And just as a point of information, I gave my card to the one of the Oasis representatives, because we would love to go in there with pet therapy. That's what we do. We bring joy and compassion to people. And so that's all I'm actually going to say, is to please be open-minded. Please listen to the facts. After you hear the facts, I would be hard-pressed for you to say, we can't do it because we're local government. It doesn't apply. Local government has, they voted and the proposals have been made and ordinances have been passed by local government. I thank you and I appreciate it.
If I could just,
Yes, I would
just because I know I had responded to your email, and I know we had spoken last year when I was mayor, and I know that we actually have been very friendly with SPCA, and I believe you had a table at Middletown Day last year, right? Correct? Mr. Nelson, our attorney, we had brought this, and I had brought this subject up to Mr. Nelson, the attorney, and, you know, while and as I said in my email, I have my view of government and our role of what we can and cannot do, and that's, you know, my interpretation. But I would just also just very candidly, you know, just to say that, you know, our attorney has a different, or may have a different interpretation than the attorney of Brick or Point Pleasant Beach as to the legality of us passing this type of ordinance. So I don't want to paint a picture for the committee based on my conversations with Mr. Nelson. I'd ask him, you know, to respond. I know he's responded a little bit to this with regards to, despite all the facts, and believe me, I am not for inhumane treatment of animals. I've made that, I hope, explicitly clear to you in my email. But I just don't want you to have the public believe that just because Brick and Point Pleasant Beach and Manasquan may have passed this, that necessarily it would hold up in court and that it's legal. And that's something that I think we have to weigh very seriously in terms of, this isn't even an ordinance that is on the table this evening, despite I saw an email that said that it seemed to be on, that it was, but,
We're
you know, it is.
proposing.
Right, well, I just would just, you know, want to make sure that, no, I understand that, but I want to make sure that you understand that just because two towns may have passed it, necessarily the grade of, you know, 560 that we have in the state, doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, that our legal interpretation may be the same, so.
I understand.
Mrs. Smith, we're going to have to move on, but if, thank you very much for the information. We will look into it. We take everything very seriously, and we really always want to do the right thing, the enforceable thing. And one of the, as Committeeman Fiore had just mentioned, one of the things we have to do is the due diligence to see the legality of what we do. Just because a town passes an ordinance does not mean it will stand up when it gets to court. That's number one. And number two, there's also, and you know, now I'm prolonging the 5 minutes, but there's also a state law that's been proposed by the legislature dealing with this very issue. That's really the place, you know, to regulate that sort of interstate commerce, not necessarily at the local level. The way and this is just me trying to think of both sides. Now, you're assuming that anybody who comes in here to open up a business will automatically be engaged in some sort of, you know, I won't even say illegal, because apparently it's not illegal as it goes on, but some sort of unethical behavior. And I don't know if that's the message we want to send to the business community, where we're trying to welcome businesses in here, that we automatically think that you're going to engage in something that's not on the up and up. So these are the kind of things that we have to weigh when we read through this. And I guarantee you, my kids are all over me for this, you know, that we really have to, you know, protect against this. My next door neighbor breeds Newfoundlands, so I hear it, you know, and I take the garbage down the street. So I understand it perfectly, but again, we have a responsibility to everybody, the business community and, you know, advocacy folks too. So we really want to be fair to everybody, and that's what I can promise you.
Okay, I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Kathleen Schatzman. I'm the New Jersey State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. I'm also a Monmouth County resident. Don't know if you need the exact address.
Please do.
Sure. 94 White Pine Drive, Coltsneck. I was going to read a very stock letter that I have for you. I could submit that to the clerk as well, but I think it's more important for me first to mention HSUS has 11 million members nationally. We have over 440,000 in New Jersey. We have a staff of over 500. We have our puppy mill campaign because it is that prevalent, unfortunately. Excuse me. 99.9% of all pet stores that sell puppies come from puppy mills. It's what we do every day. We go out, we see these atrocities, we rescue, we try to educate. We absolutely advocate for the responsible breeder. I want to make that perfectly clear, because we are all about good breeding. However, when you do have, you know, the puppies are adorable. Nobody's going to see that when they walk into a store where their moms are kept, the crates, you know, stacked on top of each other. The terrible conditions, the hereditary genetic illnesses. And I know we have a puppy lemon law. We do. I'm in Trenton, you know, twice a week. So I deal on the legislative level as well, but we also look at the municipal.
So you know legislation
yeah.
I'm speaking of?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there on Monday.
Okay.
Went recently. It is not something that we do support. We are hoping that we can work with that and amend, because we absolutely do believe that there should be some more strict regulations for the pet stores. I'm also on the Domestic Companion Animal Council, which is governor appointed, and I work with the Department of Health. My role, I think, tonight is I want to thank you, first and foremost, for allowing us to speak, but I'm here as a resource. If you need any additional information, if you'd like to learn more about the issue, if you'd like to meet and have a conversation about this, just in general, I'm here for you, and I can certainly answer any questions that you may have.
I just have one question, and why not go after the puppy mills themselves?
We do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm sorry I jumped your question.
No, but just to shut them down, because it seems like you paint a broad brush with pet stores, and even the ones that may get, you know, deal with reputable breeders, kind of get swept, with that broad brush. And I'm a little concerned because when you go down that road of trying to regulate and try and determine products inside a store like that, then what's next? Clothing stores to determine if those sweaters were made by a 10-year-old overseas somewhere? How far are we going to go? And that's a sort of a slippery slope that I see, is a potential hazard here. So that's one thing that we have to keep in mind also. How we can do it without having to,
Sure.
be a sledgehammer on a
Sure,
mosquito.
well, I absolutely understand your concern. It really is 99.9%, because I can't say 100. But it is that prevalent for the puppies that are coming in. The only way that they can have that kind of supply is by mass production. This is a business. They are a commodity. They are not viewed as beings, as living beings. So they all have their value, and unfortunately, it is buyer beware. But I think, being here tonight, I think was a wonderful presentation, and you are all compassionate individuals. So I do hope that will extend as well to perhaps just an additional conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I hand this to?
Absolutely, yes. Okay, is there anybody else who would care to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Janice Fisher, Manasquan, New Jersey. I realize I'm not a resident of Middletown, but I'm here to support Rose Smith and her petition to the committee to adopt such an ordinance. I am the coordinator for the Puppy Mill Awareness campaign for a local animal advocacy group. We do the majority of our work, I will tell you, in your town. I have a booklet, I have records from a pet store in your town. These are official USDA inspection reports that I would be happy to share with you to show you that the pet store in your town does not buy from reputable breeders. How do we know this? Common sense tells us that a reputable breeder cares about their puppies. So I appreciate your comments, Mayor Sharpenberg, but when you really think about it logically, a good, reputable breeder, contact the New Jersey Federation of Dog Clubs and ask them if any of their breeders would sell to any pet store coming into the area, and you will receive a big fat no. They love their dogs, they take pride in the breed, and they will not allow their puppies to go anywhere where a young salesperson is going to be selling them. So, secondly, the price that they would charge for their puppies to a pet store would be nothing near the $50 to the maximum $250 that the pet store pays for a mass-bred puppy. And I can tell you that every single piece of research I have done through the official website of the USDA, where I have accumulated inspection reports from the USDA on breeders that supply to your local pet store, every single one of them indicates that it's a breeder that houses between 50 and up to 800 dogs at a time. Ask again of the New Jersey Federation of Dog Clubs, would that be a reputable breeder? No. How do you care for animals when you have that quantity? A lot of them are Amish breeders. I have letters of apology from Amish breeders to the states in the Midwest where they're breeding, acknowledging they've violated the Animal Welfare Act, which is the act that allegedly protects the animals. So I would say that I wouldn't worry so much about a good pet store coming into town, because I could guarantee you, I could probably prove to you that their pets are not coming from reputable breeders. I'm going to give you one case in point. It wasn't your store, but it was the sister store, same owner. Last month sold a 9-week-old Pomeranian puppy to an 85 and 91-year-old couple. Yes, maybe they were senile. I have no other reason to believe why they would buy a puppy. And it is their responsibility to be more responsible and not buy a puppy. But the man walked with a walker when he came into the store. He brought in their 13-year-old Pomeranian who had a brain tumor and also was suffering seizures. The store knew this. Might you think the salesperson would have said, I don't think this is the best choice at this time? They might have, but they didn't. Instead, they sold the puppy for $3,700, added tag-ons to the purchase price, got them for another $300 for merchandise, such as puppy vitamins that their own vet said was not necessary. This is predatory business. And if the committee is happy to have those kind of businesses in town, taking advantage of customers and at the same time perpetuating this inhumane, the deplorable conditions where these dogs come from, then I don't know how you can do it. I mean, you can go home tonight. If you have a canine companion, look at that dog and say, would I want my dog to be in a facility where he'll never have human touch, never have a soft, comfortable bed, never own a bone or a toy to play with? I think you all would probably say that's unacceptable. So why is it acceptable for any other dog? It's a bad business. The federal government monitors it through the USDA, and not very adequately, I might add. So this is our chance at the local level to make a stance and say, we would like to make a difference.
Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. Have you contacted the Department of Community Affairs?
Absolutely, yes. I've contacted the department. They're wonderful in terms of they enforce the Pet Purchase Protection Act. But if I wanted to buy a puppy, and believe me, I've done this undercover. I will admit, I shouldn't admit it, now everybody will know me. But I contact the Department of Community Affairs and I ask them, do you have complaints? And this is the answer you'll get. Any one of you can do it. Yes, we do have complaints, but that's about all the information we can give. I contact the local health department, Middletown. We cannot give you any information on sick puppies purchased unless you file an OPRA request, and it would take 30 days. Sometimes that's just not in time, okay? And you cannot get breeder information from a pet store. There is no pet store who's going to give you that information ahead of time, so you can go and do your adequate research. So it's leaving the consumer vulnerable. And I shouldn't think that the local government would want that. So this new bill that I'm familiar with, that's been proposed, I'm hoping that local governments would say, you know, this is not such a good bill. We want our residents protected. And we certainly want the animals protected. Thank you for letting me.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who can speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Nancy Sassen, 9 Palm Court in Homedale. I just wanted to talk to you about the American Puppy Club in your town. My son and his girlfriend went in there last June to purchase a puppy. Really just went and loved good. Ended up getting a puppy there. What I'm here for, what I'm very, very upset about is we were sold a sick puppy. She was sneezing in the store. We questioned it numerous times. The girl walked away from us. I even questioned her. You know, why is this puppy sneezing so much? Oh, well, it's a baby, it's a puppy, they do that. We bought the puppy. She was $2,300. Got her home, she got worse. She was probably 2 pounds when we got her. So I was very worried about her. Stayed up with her a lot, thought that a couple times I was going to wake up and she was going to be gone. She grew up a lot, was sick, back and forth to vets. Now, they sent me to the vet in Homedale. My son brought the puppy there, never got an unfit letter. So we couldn't get our money back because you need this unfit letter. I had to call the Board of Health. They knew about this store, I was told, but couldn't do much about it because they weren't getting enough complaints. Called Consumer Affairs. Apparently, they're not communicating with the Board of Health. So I buy a dog, $2,300. I paid for it, but it was my son's dog. Nothing from the vet, no help from the vet, no letter, couldn't get our money back, called Board of Health. Got nowhere there. The guy was very nice. He explained a lot of things to me. I've learned a lot of things in the past year. Called Consumer Affairs, I got nowhere because I didn't have an unfit letter. Was told probably after 3 months, the entire summer, going back and forth, trying to recoup at least $100 back for my son. Was told, why didn't you go after the vet? Now, why didn't you tell me this from the start? This was all new to me. This was our first dog. We never had a dog. I wasn't, like everybody I talked to, I wasn't given the proper help. I have the contract in front of me, and I want to give it to you, but the first thing it says is that the puppy you're purchasing is guaranteed to be in good health upon delivery. Ours wasn't. 3 vets later. Now she's having eye problems. I'm praying to God she's not going to go blind. She's a year old. My neighbor across the street purchased a dog there. She didn't go blind. My neighbor next door purchased a dog there. They had all genetic problems. They died young. My neighbor down the street purchased a dog there. She told me they bought a dog out sick. It was coughing all over. She said, I don't want this dog. This dog is sick. My son called the American Puppy Club, told them, our dog is sick. You sold us a sick dog. Nasty. They didn't want to talk to us. The girls were nasty to him. I said, Michael, don't call them back anymore. You don't need to have to go through that. I called them. I was very nice to the girl. I said, look, all I want to do is recoup my kids $100 for these pet bills. They told us to take the vet bills, bring it back to the puppy store, and he would give the money back. When he goes back to the puppy store, they said, oh no, you have to send it to Aurora, Colorado. We did that. Aurora, Colorado said this isn't a prescription.
Ma'am, we're going to have to start to,
Okay.
we're going to have to start to wrap up.
Okay, I just want to let you know what we went through. It was horrible. I just want to tell you the last thing my son said to me. He said, Mom, thank God we kept her because we rescued her from that horrible store. And it's, I apologize, it's been hell. We went through hell just trying to buy this little puppy. And she wasn't cheap. My son and his girlfriend, I mean, they're kids, they're in college. He had to work all summer to pay his dog back. Nobody would help us. The pet store, the vet, Consumer Affairs, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And I'm not going to get into it. I have an elderly father, a sick father I'm taking care of. I have a niece that has numerous problems, 35 operations, seizures. Do you honestly think I need this now in my life? I'm being honest, this is what we had to go through for this dog. It was horrendous. And then we got help from nobody. Terrible, terrible story. And you know what, I have to say, this is the first time I've met you, and you seem like a really nice, caring man. I hope to God you don't let any more puppy stores come into your town. I know Homedale doesn't have any. I don't think Hazlitt does. Union Beach, I really hope you do something. And I'd like to give you this, and on the second page, I'd like you to read it because he doesn't take responsibility for anything.
Okay, we'll take it if you can have it.
Thank you
If
very
you want to
much.
wrap up. Thank you very much.
Can I pose a question to Mr. Nelson?
Sure.
Mr. Nelson, I know in the past the committee has, there have been certain businesses, especially on the business corridor, whether they be tattoo parlors that the township would rather not have in the township or allow that type of activity, or there is a clinic that I can remember quite vividly a few years ago that the township wasn't really pleased about in the business zone. Does the township have any legal, standing to restrict this type of business? I mean,
No. And this is an area of law that's explicitly preempted by state statute. In fact, the statute cited in the ordinances, which I did take a look at, the brick one, I believe it was, before this evening, that statute does not allow the township to regulate. It has licensing and reporting provisions to the state. It does not allow the township to say you can or cannot have this certain type of business or how that business is operated outside of the state laws that are in existence. which is really why this is an issue that belongs in Trenton and not here. The other thing that I would find problematic, and I would be shocked if these municipal ordinances, and maybe you could find this out for me, have been reviewed by the assignment judge in Ocean County and in Monmouth County, because I highly doubt that, because no penalty provision of any local ordinance can issue penalties or criminal offenses against any individuals unless that's authorized by the assignment judge in that county. I know the assignment judge in Monmouth County I would be shocked if he signed off on that for Manasquan. I tend to believe that he'd probably never seen it, frankly, and if you could look into that, that'd be helpful to know whether he would sign off on that, given the state laws that are on the books, that to find a source of law that would allow a municipality to render penalties that are cited in here, whether it be financial or jail time and so forth. And there's this very practical issue with that, frankly, because let's say the Township Committee, and I'm sure they're very compelled by many of the stories and the information you provided tonight, if let's just say they said, okay, you know what, we're going to adopt something similar to one of these ordinances. We could not, without the assignment judge's authorization, even get that entered into the state system for the municipal court to issue those penalties, which are all computerized now on what's known as a supplemental fee schedule. So it's not even practically possible for us to do that without that authorization from the assignment judge through the administrative office of the courts, which puts out directives as to what offenses municipalities can adopt when a judge is given authority at the municipal level to issue a fine or jail time or things, some of the penalties I've seen in some of these ordinances. I frankly think, honestly, and I hate to question the intentions, I suspect that these ordinances were not likely run by the assignment judge, and it would be good to know also if they've had any instances where they actually tried to enforce them, because I would like to know how they did that, absent being put on that schedule through the courts. So there's aside from we can get into all the different legalities as to preemption and supersession of statutory law and so forth, but there's very practical issues with how the township could even implement these that you may want to look into. And I'm not saying that you have these answers and maybe others do, and I'm not suggesting anybody will be ready to answer those questions this evening. But
Well, moving aside, I think
are
jail time would be nice after what we went through.
I'm just saying, it's not something I could foresee the courts allowing us to even if we adopted it, it'd be a worthless piece of paper, is what I'm saying, because I don't think they would allow us to do that, because there's no statutory
We
authority.
have to move on.
Okay.
We're waiting on the allotted time. Sure, you can. Thank you very much. Would anybody else care to speak?
I'll just say short, thanks.
Sure.
My name is Patricia Blackfield. I'm also from Homedale. I don't know well, this is a separate story. I almost fell into that same trap. I was looking to buy a puppy, and several of my neighbors warned me about the store in Middletown. So I attempted to call them to find out where they got the puppies from, and I got the yeah, I thought they let know. And we went through that for several weeks, and I just walked away from it. But I just wanted to let you know that I almost got stuck with this kind of thing. So
Okay,
it's not-
thank you.
It's not getting around.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a politicalist. My name is Holly Higgins, Fulton. I appreciate you giving us the platform to speak. One thing that I am very proud of, the majority of people I work with in our seeking to get these puppy mills eliminated somehow, is we are people that we're not like another group. Well, we're just kind of crazy out there and go down the street. You know, people show up, we're educated, we're smart, we get our homework, we put it together. My homework's not done tonight. But I'm very proud of working with people like this, because there are other groups that get a very bad name, animal advocacy, and people say, oh, you're one of those. So you won't get that from people, not the people I work directly with. Just that they did do on every other point, but I just want to point out, things like when you go, I can't speak for every shelter, there's irreputable shelters too. Monmouth County SPCA, for example, when someone goes there to adopt a pet, they're vetted. Is this home going to be adequate? Are they going to be able to take care of the animal? They will not adopt out a puppy to a couple that's going to be gone 8 hours a day. They know the animals firsthand. Those puppies are like babies, but they have information and they can make educated decisions. Where I heard repeatedly about these stores, when you try and bring these pets back that are sick or whatever, they won't take them, they don't want to hear about it. SPCA, you bring a pet back there, they'll even go for no questions asked. They're Robin, you bring the pet back, they care about it. They're not making a lot of money in these places. They're there because they love them. They pick up the strays on the street that are so often seen as these bad little animals, and they're actually just scared to death. They've been either left behind with their family, or left behind from Sandy, or they've been abused, and they take them for the value that they are. You can also adopt puppies from the SPCA that have been rescued from down south, where they don't have staying in the like we do here. There's just so many different levels, and I love the education here on the law, because I'm pretty good, but I'm going to have to look into that further, and I'm in very regular contact with Governor Christie's office on another matter. When I'm done with that other matter, I'll have to work on this, but I really do appreciate your time. The education as far as the laws, I'm definitely going to look into that, and even just, use Kathleen Chapman's resources, use our resources, because normally I host twice in time seminars, educating the public about things like this, and even just to open your minds and to know about it, so you know what we're talking about and what we're talking about. But you won't get crazy, we won't get talking about things on anybody anytime soon. We might throw things on your roads during the team time, if that's good. Okay, thank you again.
Thank God, enough for those. Thank you. Would anybody else care to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Patricia Newton, 53 Division Street, Keyport. And forgive me for reading from my notes. I just want to make a couple of points and keep it short regarding the animal issue. Number one, Freehold has a pet store now. The former pet store that is now houses secondhand dogs and cats. So the first one I'm aware of in the area in New Jersey or in Monmouth County. Good positive thing. Also, the AKC has lists of rescue groups. Anyone who wants a purebred animal is very easy to find. About 1/4 of the dogs and cats that are killed each year are pure breed animals. We want to show our children a good example. We don't want them to learn to buy new and discard used, which is what we're talking about in the commodity, which is life. I don't like to call animals pets. I prefer to call them my animal companions. We created this dependent life form, and we're responsible for its life. Also, thankfully, the God of our understanding treats us, human beings, subservient beings, with compassion and love. Sadly, humans have not chosen to treat any subordinate life form with compassion and love. And we have instead commodified everything. And anyone who knows all about trying to save a dollar, just imagine who you're dealing with life, and that's all I need to say. And the last thing is, if you want to have a successful business, which helps Middletown evolve and helps humans evolve as a species, selling life forms falls far short and needs to move in the opposite direction. And I think that God, our understanding of the universe, will facilitate that move towards the life no matter what the laws say. And I worked for an attorney for 10 years. I was married to one for 10 years, and somehow things happen.
Thank you very much. Leo from Middletown, come on, bud.
Lynn Christoph, 3121 Cranberry Court, Middletown. I'm not finished with the canine matter because the matter I bring before you tonight will be on an issue that you'll feel hounded or dogged with from this about.
Very good. You dodge stick, Colonel.
But I guarantee you it comes from good, healthy breeding. For I'm referencing an article by Bob Jordan. So you could
okay. You were doing good there for a while, Leo.
And give me 5 seconds back. And the article that I'm referencing here, Bob Jordan's the good breeding, all right? Not necessarily the Asbury Park Crows. The article's titled Pro, Ashbritt Towns Don't Get Funds Faster, and and the implication, the clear statement in the article is Ashbritt didn't do the business of getting paperwork faster than other disposal firms, and they didn't do it less expensively. I use the gross figures in this article. They're arbitrary and subjective and not highly reliable. But it shows that if Bergeron were hired, or what work was done according to this article, it would have cost $128 million. If all the work was done by Ashbritt, it would have been $250 million. So you can see there's almost $125 million difference between Ashbritt and Bergeron. We have phrases going around. I have one question at the end, but just a further comment is, we have phrases going around, beware the military-industrial complex, watch out for crony capitalism. You get down to the day, basically it's government, private sector cronyism, public sector government cronyism, and this government to private sector and public sector is just draining the taxpayers. Is one, whether it's a business or a homeowner. As I said before this body, it bifurcates. These two channels of money from government, private sector, public sector, come from the taxpayers in the various kinds of taxes. That's the comment. The brunt of the article is that it's not whether Ashbritt or Bergeron, some other debris removal firm, could do the work faster, according to this article. It was whether they could get the paperwork done with FEMA faster. And the newspaper, Bob Jordan, denies it. And that the evidence in this article, the evidence adduced in this article is regarding the money, Ashbritt costs twice as much as the other firms, and there's a political connection. My question is this.
We're going to have to get to the question.
My question is this, Mary. In the aftermath of whatever removal has occurred, only in the aftermath, not before and while it was going on, now in the aftermath, could Middletown have saved money by having its debris moved by a firm other than Ashbritt, only in the aftermath?
No, Leo, that's wrong. You have to understand, this is not Monday morning quarterback. This is the next year Monday morning quarterbacking that they're doing there. And you have to understand something. We were hit by an unprecedented storm. The volume of material that we had to move for safety reasons, enormous safety reasons, in a short amount of time was astronomical. Now you had to have it moved by a certain period of time to protect to get your reimbursement assured. So we can't, Middletown, 41.4 square miles, cannot get two guys in a pickup truck to go around and take 6 months to do this and think we're going to get reimbursed at what we need to be reimbursed with. So
Mayor,
that's the reality of it. And I'm going to turn over to Committeeman Fiore.
Actually, Mayor, during the incident, Bob Jordan got wrong his story too.
Mr. Jordan owes a retraction to the fact that I was served as mayor during that decision period of time. But as Mayor Scharnberger mentioned, and to use a football analogy as a former player at a lower level, the most popular person on the team, as you're well aware, is the backup quarterback, and the most undefeated quarterback is always the Monday morning one. But at the end of the day, Leo, we had hundreds of thousands of cubic yards of trees and flooded debris at Ashbritt, and I don't know his Bergdorf form, which was not put in front of me at the time of decision, but Ashbritt had the necessary manpower, the necessary equipment to get the job done for Middletown. So to compare us to Marlboro or Howell, that article also further compared us to, that saved money by not using Ashbritt, they didn't get flooded for over 2,000 houses. They didn't have to pick up a couple 100,000 cubic yards of stoves, sofas, rugs, you name it, we got it. I had residents tell me they were going to put Christmas lights on their debris, okay, because we weren't moving fast enough. So at the end of the day, that decision was a wise decision. It's a decision that was able to, if we hired another firm, you still might have stuff out there at this point. So with the cost and the reimbursement, playing Monday morning quarterback is something that, you know, everybody it's very easy to do. But at the end of the day, we had a job that had to get done. We had a job that got done, and we took further steps, and I will add, that decision was made, we took further steps post, including up until a few weeks ago, to take the debris that they moved and remove it for even lower additional prices, if I am not mistaken. Correct, Mr. Maloney? So not only have we watched Ashbritt, we have actually taken a whole other level of due diligence to cap their costs and to make sure that we were saving every single dollar. But the fact of the matter remains, that material needed to go. Whether it was a tree in Lincroft that was across the road, or it was a, you know, sheetrock in Belford, it needed to go. And there were very few firms available that had the manpower. There were no other firms available at the time of decision that had the manpower and or the equipment to do so.
You got
Nice.
information out to the public via press release?
I mean, we
They threw Middletown
I know they did.
directly into this article. I know.
It makes
The pictures are there.
Leo, we're going to have to move on.
He wasn't the mayor who it happened.
You're the only person who's brought this up, so I think you're the only person who read the article. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Can this government and the staff it has draft a letter?
It's already done. It's already on its way, not in the Asbury Park Press, waiting for publication.
Say that again?
It's already been sent to the Asbury Park Press, waiting for publication, that letter that you referenced.
Sometimes they don't like the facts.
Yeah.
You have the letter?
It's already been submitted.
All right, can you make that?
Leo, we're going to have to move on to other folks who want to speak. You're way beyond the 5 minutes. We'll stay afterwards to answer your questions.
But the answer is yes, we'll show you.
You have to be cognizant of other folks who want to speak.
Available to the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo. Would anybody else care to speak? See? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Donna Snyder. I'm a resident of Proclamations. I am a volunteer for the I run the therapy program. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for talking about volunteers. That we are going to be an impact oasis as soon as possible, because we do go to autistic schools, special needs schools, hospitals. So that's our goal. One of the things we look for in our volunteers and in our animals is the proper care, training, attention, and help of the animal. I personally was out of that office. I responded to your response to my email. I was out of that office 6 years ago when the couple started here. When a young couple came in, just frantic tears, heart, and they had just dying up in their arms. So that so I'm going to give a private tour actually in front of them and ask them, you know, where did it come from? They said where did it come from, and we looked at the dog, puppy, tried to do it before I said you have to return it. You were given this animal ill. And of course, once you get an animal and you've had it for a few days, you've already begun the bond. There are laws and there are morals. And I know that you have to be diligent about law. We at Monmouth County SPCA have to be diligent about law, about rules. And I would ask you all to keep in your hearts and in your minds to, in any way personally and yourselves, talk about rescue, about adoption, send people to Monmouth County SPCA, because, as she said, we vet our adopters. We do not overcharge for animals. I just wanted to make that part of it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would care to speak?
Hi, I'm Meeting.mpeg4. And first thing I want to do is thank all of you folks for coming here today and talking about this issue, which I first heard about some years ago. And I know that it's something that still goes on. Puppy mills are very hard to regulate. They're obviously easy to hide on large properties. I think they're very prevalent. And I want to be clear also about what the request was. And I think it was to disallow not addressing any future stores, current stores that sell animals, but to disallow any future stores that sell animals. Not pet supplies, but specifically animals. Is that correct? Okay. I think there's a concern here, a couple points. I think there's a concern that we're going to be restricting business. These stores need to make a living. Well, there was a wonderful suggestion by the lady back here, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Patricia Knudsen, who mentioned an alternative to bringing in young puppies and small animals from the puppy mills, to have rather shelter animals brought in to pet stores. In fact, I had a dog, she's passed on now, but I, many years ago, adopted her from one of the local pet stores that partnered with a shelter who brought their animals in. And it was a very successful event. They actually made quite a bit of money selling supplies to the people who adopted dogs, the food, the leashes, all the other things. And so it was very profitable for them and a good arrangement for the community and the shelter. So I would love to see more of that, which I think there probably would be more of if we didn't have new stores coming in, selling the puppies and giving the business to puppy mills. So that was one point. The other is to point out why I think the reason that we're attempting going with this approach to try and eliminate the market for puppy mills. The reason for that is because of how difficult it is to regulate the puppy mills themselves. So this is why I'm kind of looking at it at the back end. If the stores are not there, we will come have the market, and then it's, there are a few of these puppy mills that are going to start popping up. So just wanted to point that out. Commonly speak, talking about ourselves. So just those points, and thank you again for the folks who came in today.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would care to speak? Seeing no further members of the public come forward, move to close the public portion and move for adjournment.
Committeeman Fiore?
Yes.
Committeeman Michelle?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray?
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino?
Yes.
Mayor Sharpsburger?
Yes.
Motion